Hey everybody, Reef Girl here. This video is about the Rain 2 algae scrubber from Santa Monica Filtration. It's been running on the Red Sea Reefer XL425 for about 6 weeks now, and I wanted to share my experience. This set of instructions is just great, and kudos to Santa Monica Filtration for doing such a good job. Everything is in here that you could possibly need to know to be successful running their algae scrubber. The first thing I noticed is that there is no fine print. It's all readable without a magnifying glass. What a concept! Large and clear, there are lots of details on installation, mounting options, and what to look for when your scrubber starts to work. And gentlemen, don't overlook this part. It is well worth the time it takes to read, and by the time you're done, you will know exactly how this thing works, why it does what it does, and what the best way is to implement it in your own system. Here it is all assembled and ready to install in the sump. The screen here inserts into a slot in this black pipe, and the water flows through there from here. This hose connects to the top of the pump. The water travels up through the white fitting and along the black pipe and trickles down the screen. And this part is the drain. The white fitting is an elbow, which is suggested in the instructions to reduce the spillover of any possible LED light, the red light, from inside the lid. And here's the lid. There are 2 wires coming out one end, one for each of the 2 LED lights that's inside. This can hold up to 4 lights, but mine only needs 2. So I know you're all dying to know how the heck we're going to mount this thing. We needed a shelf because our installation involves a pump. And this old filter sock holder will work perfectly. It will hang over the glass that's adjacent to the center section of my sump. The tray of the algae scrubber will rest on the flat section, and that will act just like a shelf. Those 2 white clamps are all plastic, no metal, and they'll stop it from sliding from side to side. In order to accommodate the pump going up to the algae scrubber and the drain coming down from the bottom of the tray, we had to grind out these 2 small sections from the sides of the acrylic filter holder. They accommodate it perfectly, and because of the location, they hold the scrubber in place in the other direction. It will not slide front to back. And we needed something to snug up the U-shape over top of the glass. This little piece of black silicone takes up that gap perfectly, and it will not move once it's hung over the baffle. And here's how it actually goes together. The tray goes on top, sits on the filter sock holder like a little shelf, and it doesn't move front to back because of the piping, and it doesn't move side to side because of the clamps. Looking at it from underneath, you can see how well the 2 pipes fit coming through on either side of the filter sock holder. The white fitting and the gray fitting came with the algae scrubber, and the hose is something we added so that it can attach to the pump. And speaking of the pump, here it is. We decided to go with a Lifeguard Quiet One 1200. This is rated for 317 gallons per hour, but it is adjustable up and down. This is right in the middle of the range that was suggested in the instructions. And here's the pump itself. It's a hefty little thing, suction cups on the bottom as usual. The fittings that you see here actually came with the pump, and this is the one that we selected to fit to the hose that's going to go into the scrubber. Those other 2 fittings came with it as well, and allow for a variety of applications. Price was $36 Canadian, which I thought was pretty reasonable. Here's the installation of the algae scrubber. You can see the pump here, and running across here is the cord, and there's the standpipe on which the tray is resting. And then up further, there is the actual algae scrubber unit, the lid, and the tray. Given this was installed at almost the beginning of a cycle of a brand new tank with almost no bioload except for bacteria, it was pretty amazing how well the algae grew and how quickly. I decided to pull it off to see how easy it was to clean, and it couldn't be easier. The whole unit came right off the fittings, and I brought it to the kitchen sink. Then I took it and scraped it with a scraper to get all the algae off. I left a little bit of a coating as instructed so that the new algae would have something to grow on. And 2 weeks later, it looked like this again. That bald spot in the middle is because I have too much light. And here's how the XL425 looks today. It's far from being finished. I still have a lot of coral to move. One of the two aquariums has been torn down, but the other is still packed. The algae scrubber did a fantastic job maintaining this tank while my skimmer was breaking in. And I'm convinced that without the algae scrubber, my tank would have crashed, or at the very least really extended the time for the cycle, because the skimmer just was not doing anything. It was the algae scrubber that was managing the nutrients in this tank during the cycle. So going forward, if I ever budget for another tank, an algae scrubber will be in the budget as part of the essential equipment, not just nice to have or a luxury. I've really changed my thinking on this, and the maintenance of the water quality has to be paramount, and an algae scrubber really makes a difference with that.